A very good morning, children. How are you? I hope you are doing fine and taking good care of yourself. This is your SST teacher Sonia Verma from Springfields Public School. Let us continue with our history chapter number 3, the Sultanate period, which we had started in our Zoom class. We had seen that total 5 dynasties were there. We had done the first and the second dynasties, the Slave and the Khalji dynasty. Today we are going to start with the Tughlaq dynasty. So before we do that, let us see the extent of the slave dynasty. Here you can see in orange color and here you can see in yellow color the extent of the Khalji dynasty. So here you can see the Tughlaq dynasty. It almost expanded to the whole of India. So the Tughlaq dynasty ruled for close to 100 years. It produced two powerful sultans, Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq. But the first ruler of this dynasty was Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq. He put down rebellions and strengthened the Sultanate. He was succeeded by his son Jona Khan, who took the title of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So children, we are continuing on page number 24 on the right hand side. Let us come to now Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was very powerful ruler. Ibn Battuta, who was a famous traveler, he gives a lot of information about his reign. He tells us that the Sultan had great ideas and plans that failed because the common people could not understand them. So we are going to study about these plans and the reason why they failed. So some of his plans were, first was the taxation in the Doab region, second was the shift of capital, third was introduction of token currency, fourth was the Kabar Expedition, fifth was the Quraysan Expedition. Let us come to the taxation in the Doab. So I had told you already, the Doab region is the region which lies between the Ganga and Yamuna rivers. And this is a very fertile region. To increase revenue collection, the Sultan Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he raised the land tax in the Doab region. However, the king's timing was not good. The Doab was facing a severe famine during this period. So maybe because of drought or flood or any disease, when people they are not able to grow any food grain and they start dying of hunger, diseases are there. So that is called famine. To raise taxes at such a time was a mistake. Many peasants, many farmers, they abandoned, they left their land. Some of them revolted. They raised their voice against the Sultan. Ultimately, the Sultan had to withdraw his order. So he had to take back his orders. So this plan failed. The second plan was shifting of capital. In 1327, Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to shift the capital of the empire from Delhi to Devgiri, which he renamed Daulatabad. Most historians believe that there were two reasons for it. So there were two reasons why he shifted his capital. First was the Sultan felt that he would be able to control and administer the empire better from Daulatabad since it was located in the center of the empire. So on page number 25, children, you have a map given in your book. So here you can see that in pink color, the extent of his empire is given, and Delhi you can see it is on the northern side of his empire, while Daulatabad is there almost in the central side of his empire. So he thought that he will be able to better take care of his empire when he is there in the central part of his kingdom. The second reason was the Mongols were a constant threat to Delhi. Daulatabad would be safe from Mongol attacks. So the second reason was that the Mongols, they kept on attacking his kingdom on the northern frontiers. So when he would be away from the northern side, he would be safe from the Mongol attacks. Muhammad bin Tughlaq ordered the entire population of Delhi to move to Daulatabad. People did not want to leave their homes, but they had to obey the king's orders. However, the king soon realized that it was impossible to keep a watch on the northern frontiers from Daulatabad. So, obviously, he would not be able to take care of his borders when he is so far away to the central side of India. So, he ordered a reshift of the capital. He again ordered that again his capital is going to be Delhi. All the people who had gone to Daulatabad were asked to move back to Delhi. So this plan also failed. So his next plan was introduction of a token currency. So nowadays also children, you see when you go to an entertainment park, you get a token currency at the entry. You give money and they give you a token which you are able to use it inside that entertainment park. So in that same manner, he introduced a token currency in 1329. Since there was a shortage of silver during this period. So at that time, the currency which was being used was silver currency because it was acceptable in the whole world. So the Sultan, he decided to mint coins of brass and copper for day-to-day use. These coins had the same value as pure silver coins. Further, they could be exchanged for silver coins at any time from the royal treasury. Muhammad, however, failed to check the illegal minting of coins since the design of those coins was so simple that any person would be able to copy that design. They would be able to duplicate that design. So people, they started to make a lot of all these coins. The kingdom was flooded with forged coins, with duplicate coins. Money lost its value. Trade suffered as foreign merchants, they refused to accept these coins. The Sultan had to give silver coins in exchange of even forged coins. The treasury thus became empty. The experiment was soon withdrawn. Barani wrote that heaps of bronze coins rose like mountains near Tughlaqabad. So there were lot of bronze coins in the whole kingdom. So this experiment also failed. Now let us see the Kabar Expedition. To secure the northern frontiers of the Sultanate, Muhammad bin Tughlaq sent an army to the Kangra region. Kangra region is about in this particular area. So he raised an army and he sent to the Kangra region. After annexing this region, after occupying this region, the army proceeded towards Tibet. It suffered heavy casualties there. It failed in that particular region and this plan also failed. Let us see the Quraysan Expedition. To expand the empire, Muhammad bin Tughlaq decided to conquer Khurasan in Central Asia. He raised a large army. Here you can see in Central Asia, this region is their Khurasan region. It is far away from India. Here is India, then Pakistan, then Afghanistan, and then we have the Khurasan region. So it was far away from India. So he raised a large army and spent a lot of money on weapons and other war supplies. The soldiers were also given 1 year's salary in advance as an incentive to attract them, to motivate them. However, the expedition was withdrawn, it was taken back because of the difficulties the army would face in an alien land, in a faraway land. The soldiers so recruited were disbanded. So, all those soldiers which were kept for this expedition, they were sent away. Muhammad bin Tughlaq became very unpopular popular because of his schemes. He lost the trust of his nobles, the powerful people of his court, the ulemas, the Islamic scholars, and the people of his empire. The Sultan was unable to control his empire effectively. Revolts broke out in Bengal, Gujarat, Warangal, and other places. Two powerful regional kingdoms, Vijayanagar and Bahmani, came up in South India and the Deccan, respectively. So, now let us study about Firoz Shah Tughlaq. Firoz Shah Tughlaq was Muhammad bin Tughlaq's cousin. He wanted the support of the nobles and the ulema so that they would allow him to rule peacefully. Thus, he gave them bigger iktas. Iktas are the land which is given to the officers. And this land, it was made hereditary. So, after that particular person dies, that officer dies, that land would pass on to his son. So, upon the death of a noble, his ikta would pass on to his son. To please the ulema, to keep them happy, he ruled according to the Islamic laws. As a result, the nobles and the ulema, they grew very powerful and began to influence the Sultan in day-to-day administration. All these definitions, children, you will be able to find at the back of your book. I have also given you a picture of those definitions here. So, Firoz Shah, he was also a reformer. Firoz Shah, he was a very successful reformer. He built many canals, tanks, wells, hospitals, and rest houses. He founded new towns such as Jaunpur, Firozpur, Firozabad, and Hisar. He set up many educational institutions and also had many Sanskrit books translated into Persian and Arabic. After the death of Firoz Shah, his empire broke up. Many regions became independent, so it broke up into smaller kingdoms. Soon the Sultanate was just reduced to Delhi and its surrounding areas. Now let us see the Timur invasion which happened after the Tughlaq dynasty. The Mongol ruler Timur was the ruler of a large empire in Central Asia. Here you can see his empire. He invaded India and attacked and looted Delhi. His army massacred, killed thousands of people. With the loot he collected, he beautified his capital, Samarkand. Here you are able to see the capital, Samarkand. Before leaving Delhi, Timur appointed Khizr Khan as his deputy in India. Khizr Khan became the first Sayyid ruler. So in our Zoom class, children, we are going to continue with some aspects of Tughlaq rule. Then we will study about the Sayyid dynasty and the Lodi dynasty. That is all for today, children. Thank you. Stay home. Stay safe.